Marvin Gaye was the voice of passion, struggle, and soul. While the world adored his smooth vocals and heartbreaking lyrics, few knew the silent battles he fought behind the spotlight. In a time when being gay in the music industry meant silence or exile, Marvin lived two lives, one for the cameras and one in the shadows. Now, decades after his tragic death, lost letters and secret confessions have come to light. They don't just reveal his vulnerability, they expose his truth. And shockingly, Marvin named 4 legendary male artists he shared private love with, names that would leave the industry stunned. Marvin Pence Gaye Jr. was born on April 2, 1939, in Washington, D.C. He grew up in a strict, deeply religious home. His father, Marvin Sr., was a preacher who ruled the house with fear and discipline. Marvin's relationship with his father was complicated, filled with both fear and a desperate longing for approval. Music became Marvin's way to escape the emotional chaos. He started singing in church at a young age and quickly showed incredible vocal talent as a teenager. Marvin joined a local doo-wop group called the Rainbows. He was heavily inspired by black gospel music, doo-wop harmonies, and artists like Nat King Cole. His big break came when he joined the Marquis, which eventually led to a connection with Harvey Fuqua of the Munglos. That link brought him to Detroit, where he was introduced to Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records. In 1961, Marvin signed with Motown and quickly rose through the ranks. Though he wanted to be a jazz crooner, Motown pushed him toward R&B and soul. Reluctantly, he adapted and made history. His voice, both smooth and aching, carried emotions people didn't know how to express. Despite his success, Marvin carried deep emotional wounds. His marriage to Anna Gordy, Berry's sister, was filled with love, but also pain, betrayal, and long silences. Privately, Marvin battled depression, drug use, and sexual confusion, struggles he rarely voiced. In a time when being openly gay could destroy a career, Marvin kept certain truths buried deep. He was a man full of love, but unsure how to receive it. His music spoke the words he couldn't say. Now, as hidden letters and private stories surface, a fuller picture of Marvin Gaye, the man behind the music, is finally emerging. Number 1. Luther Vandross. Among the most surprising and whispered names linked to Marvin Gaye's private life is Luther Vandross. Both were giants in soul, music masters of emotion, velvet-toned singers who made millions feel every lyric. But beneath the stage lights and applause, there was a quieter connection, one rooted in mutual admiration, vulnerability, and a shared fear of being truly seen. Luther, like Marvin, never publicly confirmed his sexuality, but those close to him spoke of his private pain, loneliness, and the deep longing for love he could never speak of out loud. According to handwritten letters discovered years after Marvin's death, the two singers shared an intimate, short-lived relationship that was kept entirely secret from the world. They bonded over music, late-night phone calls, and long conversations about faith, fear, and hiding their true selves. Marvin described Luther as gentle, honest, and quietly brilliant, a man who understood the weight of being a star while feeling like a stranger in your own skin. Their time together was brief, but emotionally intense. Marvin wrote of feeling both comforted and terrified, relieved to be with someone who knew the silence, but scared of what would happen if the truth ever came out. The relationship eventually faded, not from a lack of feeling, but from the pressure of fame, fear, and a world that wouldn't understand. Still, Marvin held on to the memory. In one undated letter, he called Luther my softest song, the one I never sang out loud. That single line revealed more than an interview ever could. Behind every love song they recorded, behind every soft falsetto or broken lyric, was a hidden echo of a love that dared not speak its name. A love between legends buried in silence, but never truly forgotten. Number 2. Teddy Pendergrass. The connection between Marvin Gaye and Teddy Pendergrass has long been the subject of quiet whispers and backstage murmurs. Both men were icons of masculine souls, seductive and powerful in voice and presence. But according to private notes and fragments of diary entries uncovered after Marvin's death, their relationship was far more personal than anyone imagined. Marvin described Teddy as fire wrapped in velvet, a man who walked into a room and owned the air. Their chemistry, by all accounts, was electric. They first met during a Motown after-party in the early 1970s. What began as a professional admiration turned quickly into something deeper, something neither of them could publicly acknowledge. Teddy, like Marvin, struggled with identity. Behind his confident image was a man unsure of where passion ended and performance began. In a confidential letter Marvin never sent, he wrote, "With Teddy, I could be loud, I could burn. I didn't have to hide the heat." Their connection was intense, physical, emotional, and deeply spiritual. But it was also risky. Both feared what might happen if their secret ever leaked, especially in an era where black masculinity and queerness were seen as incompatible. The relationship reportedly ended when Teddy began to pull away, afraid of the implications for his rising career. Marvin was heartbroken but understanding. He knew too well what it meant to protect your image at the cost of your truth. Still, he never spoke badly of Teddy. In fact, years later, he told a close friend that Teddy was the only man who made me feel completely alive, then completely empty. That haunting confession paints a picture of a love affair both beautiful and doomed, remembered in lyrics, guarded in silence, and written in Marvin's heart long after it ended. Number 3. Billy Preston. Billy Preston, often called the Fifth Beatle for his iconic keyboard work with the legendary band, was more than just a musical genius. To Marvin Gaye, he was a mystery, one wrapped in laughter, talent, and deep sorrow. They met in the late 1960s, both navigating the fast lanes of fame and the quiet, aching backroads of identity. Billy was flamboyant, joyful in public, but carried private scars from a life of trauma and rejection. Marvin found in him a kindred spirit, someone who used music not just to entertain, but to cope. According to Marvin's handwritten notes and recollections shared with close friends, their relationship was quiet but profound. Billy had an energy that lifted Marvin during some of his darkest emotional lows. He played like he was speaking to God, Marvin once wrote. And some nights, I believed he was speaking to me. They shared moments in studios, hotel rooms, and late-night walks that Marvin described as the safest silences I ever knew. Their bond wasn't built on grand declarations, it was built on understanding. Both had complicated relationships with religion, fame, and self-acceptance. Billy, who had been open about being sexually abused in his youth, found peace in Marvin's gentle presence. Marvin, in turn, found in Billy a kind of forgiveness he never got from his father or the church, though their relationship never became public. Marvin once called Billy the only person who heard the music in me that I was too afraid to play. Their connection faded as their lives moved in different directions, but Marvin never forgot him. In one private letter, he wrote, "Billy was not a chapter. He was the song between my lines, a quiet love brief, healing, and unforgettable." Number 4. Jermaine Stewart. Jermaine Stewart, best known for his 1986 hit, "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off," was a rising star with a radiant smile and a soft, unmistakable voice. But behind the catchy pop songs and joyful energy was a young man battling inner fears about love, identity, and belonging. When he crossed paths with Marvin Gaye in the early 1980s, it was a meeting of opposites. Jermaine was wide-eyed and hopeful. Marvin was world-weary and cautious, yet somehow, they understood each other instantly. According to private journal entries found in Marvin's belongings after his death, he referred to Jermaine as the last light in a life that had begun to dim. Their connection was tender, less fiery than his past affairs, but filled with genuine care. Marvin felt protective of Jermaine, drawn to his innocence and vulnerability. They spent quiet time together away from the music, the industry, and the pressure. Marvin once wrote, "With him, I didn't have to be Marvin Gaye. I could just be Marvin." Jermaine, in return, looked up to Marvin, not only as a mentor, but as someone who saw and accepted him without judgment. Their relationship remained hidden, even from close friends, because both feared what the world might say. Marvin had already been battling personal demons, depression, and the pressure of public expectations. Jermaine, still early in his career, couldn't risk exposure either. Their bond faded gently, not through conflict, but distance. Yet Marvin never forgot him. In one final note, he wrote, "Jermaine was the soft goodbye I never got to say." It was a love not built to last forever, but one that left a lasting peace in Marvin's heart, a reminder that even in secret, love can be real, deep, and life-changing.